Alright guys, how's it going? So, in this video, going to be discussing, pretty simply, how to optimize ads. You might be a bit like me. You might be trying to run ads on behalf of somebody else, provide marketing service, generate leads, clients, help people grow their business. Whenever I was getting started out, I cannot understate the level of nerves that I had in the event that I didn't deliver or that I couldn't do my job. And the main fear around this was number one, a lack of knowledge, and number two, a lack of experience. I can't give you experience, but I can definitely give you the knowledge. So this is really just me speaking to my younger self to be able to help out people who are in the same situation as me. If you're looking to get started with running your own ads, that's great. Generally speaking, this is going to be ideal for people selling expensive products, so £500 or more, or a service-based business, again, £500 or more, relatively high ticket, just because realistically you're looking at several tens or a couple of £100 or dollars to get a client in the first place, and it's not really going to be worth it if you're only charging $80, $100, whatever it may be, for your service. So yeah, here is how to optimize ads. We've got 4 different steps on this one, or 3 different steps. But before I jump into it, here are some very common mistakes I see. So this is mainly from people who are new to the industry trying to market on behalf of others. And that is that most people are completely winging it. So even me, whenever I was getting started out, I didn't have that knowledge, I didn't have the experience, and I didn't really know the best strategies going into it. So I did end up getting very good results for all of the initial guys that I started on with in terms of generating leads. But it wasn't because I had a brilliant strategy coming in. Well, I did, but it wasn't very intentional. I somewhat got lucky in the sense that I had good connections and I had access to good information, which taught me some good methods to use. But hopefully I'm going to explain the foundations and the thinking or the theory behind that today. No overall strategy. So again, plays into the completely winging it thing. And this actually plays into a previous video of mine. So I made a video breaking down my most successful ad campaign previously, back whenever I was only just getting started. And this is a little bit of a different video, although that one will still work for you if you're just getting started. This will sort of explain the thinking, the theory behind why that actually worked. No understanding of metrics. So, when it comes to the metrics, if everything's going okay, great. You really don't need to worry about them until you do, whenever they stop performing, and then your metrics are going to come into play, because if something stops working, you need to ask why has it stopped working, and your metrics will give you the answer. If anybody's wondering what I mean by metrics, I just mean the performance of different aspects. So people clicking on your ad, people seeing your ad, people submitting, all the rest. I'll break that down later on, don't worry. Not enough testing. So there is no exact science to ads, but if you simply implement loads of different strategies over a long enough time period, you're going to find something that will pop, that will work on the algorithm. Your ideal client, your ideal viewer will see this ad and they'll think, oh, that resonates with me. They'll not say this, obviously. They'll not be sitting like, oh, this ad resonates, let me submit. They'll have a certain level of relatability to it and think, oh, this person understands me, this ad gets my problems, and they will submit then. And this is a completely different conversation in itself, but you're not looking to sell a product, you're looking to solve a problem. So that's why I say this person understands my problems, this resonates with me, this is relatable whenever I speak about the client's perspective, because you want to solve problems instead of sell a service, if that makes sense. And the most valuable services are the ones that solve the biggest problems. And lastly, not understanding your target audience. And this is the thing, this sort of plays into what I just said. Nobody likes being sold to, but they do like people solving their problems and helping them. So, first of all, if you can have that paradigm, if you can see things through the lens of I'm trying to solve people's problems, your audience will feel understood. But if you understand them on a deeper level, you can resonate with them better. And you can make better targeted ads, essentially. Anyways, that's almost 5 minutes of me talking about very common mistakes I see. Stop winging it. This is a strategy that you can use, and I highly suggest that you take advantage of this knowledge. Don't just sort of watch it and be like, oh, that's great. Now I know this, now I'm so much better. Actually take it, actually take the knowledge whenever the issues come up. Come back to this video, watch it, and implement what I say as a result of it, and see your actual life change, because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you just sit on this information, save it, like it in YouTube, it's not going to make any difference to you. That's something I'm guilty of, by the way. That's why I'm going so hard on it. But if you can relate to any of this, Here's how you can actually run ads without ever having to worry about winging it or not understanding your metrics, and essentially just never feeling lost or not knowing what to do whenever your ads aren't performing. So yeah, keep watching. But like I said, we have 3 different steps. Step 1, I always recommend that you use a DCT advert. So DCT stands for Dynamic Creative Testing Advert. And what this does is it allows you to use multiple different creatives within one ad, if that makes sense. So whenever you'll probably know this if you have some experience, if you set up an ad set with multiple ads in it, and one of the ads stings a lead straight away in the first 10 minutes, it gets all the budget from Facebook. Facebook just funnels it all towards the best performer. With DCT, that's not the case. It'll actually evenly distribute it across them, so you can get a better understanding of the performance of each one based on their metrics and performance over a longer period of time. But I recommend you do your initial test with 3 creatives, 2 primary texts, and 2 headlines. Not that I think the headlines matter all that much, but if you can test it, have better metrics, and have better ads overall as a result, there is no harm in doing it. So, actually developing your creatives and text. It's all well and good saying this, how do you actually do it? So remember, 3 creatives, 3 separate creatives, under this one DCT ad. For now, I recommend you stick with exclusively images or exclusively videos. And I'll get on to split testing images and videos later on. But the reason for this is that you simply have no basis as to what is going to work for your service or for your audience or for anything. You don't know, and it wouldn't really be a fair test if you come in with like really stupidly different stuff. Although you do want some variety, which I'll talk about now. Just stick with images, stick with videos. You can test it later, don't worry. But I recommend you take 3 images, all related to your niche or offer in some way, but in no way related to each other. So you could be working with, for example, an estate agent here in the UK or a realtor in the US, and you could be one yourself. You could be looking to run ads to generate more leads, generate more clients, grow the business. And what you can do is you can have 3 separate creatives. One could be of somebody holding their keys like this, just about moving to a new house. Cool. Another one could be the agent sitting with a couple who are looking to purchase a new house. And the third could be a for sale sign out the front of another house. So they're all related to the niche and the offer in some way, but they're in no way related to each other. They don't have there's no correlation. Obviously, it's all real estate based, but they aren't related. They don't have any of the same common themes. So that's what I would recommend with the creatives. Regarding the primary text, I recommend you go to Facebook Ad Library and analyze your competitors' best performing ads. And you can do the same for the creatives, guys. If you're struggling to come up with ideas for creatives, just go straight through the Facebook Ad Library. You can see the ones that have been up for the longest period of time. If they've been up for 2, 3, 4 weeks, no one's going to keep funding an ad that isn't performing, so you can assume that's doing well. And I would show it to you, but I did on my last recording, and my Loom crashed, and I'm having to record this again for the second time, so I'm not going to do that. But go ahead, guys, you can check your own, and you'll find some good ideas. Just search up the word of your niche. So it could be, for example, estate agents or real estate. You can see all the creatives there. But as for the copy, I structure my copy as, I'll put this in the center, call out. So whenever I say call out your ideal viewer, your ideal client, your ideal customer. You could be, I don't know, we'll keep with the real estate theme for now. You could be an estate agent based in London. You can say, I don't know. I don't know. This isn't really my field of expertise. You could say, looking to buy a house in London, ? Or something like that. Just call out what you're looking for. Who is it that you're trying to work with? And make a specific call out for them. Pinpoint. So you could have, are you struggling to find a property within your budget? Worried about sleazy agents trying to get high commission or something? I don't know. Well, you flip the script. So you want to flip from those pain points. Well, great to hear. Or you get what I'm saying. Flip the script. Stop being so negative with the pains, and say we've got this amazing offer which can solve that pain. Give some USPs as to why people should go with you, and then tell them what to do next. And you can reiterate the offer as well. So whenever you're telling them what to do, they get incentivized essentially because they have that selfish incentive to go ahead and submit the form. Call to action should obviously be to submit the form or book in or whatever it may be, whatever your call to action is, but I recommend lead form to start. But yeah, guys, that is essentially creatives and copy. just go over that again. 3 separate creatives, nothing to do with each other, but all related to the niche. Primary text, just go to Facebook ad library, you can copy your competitors. Call out, pain point, flip the script, offer, USPs, call to action, and you can reiterate the offer if you want. And what you're trying to do here is understand your customer. So what is going to give them the most pain? What are they going to resonate the most with? What's going to be the most relatable to them? And incite action. So, step 2. Where is step 2? It's up here. Step 2 is wait for 48 to 96 hours, keeping a close eye on your metrics, specifically your cost per lead. So you can see here there's KPIs. There isn't one for cost per lead, just because based on what you're providing, what service you're providing, what offer you have. For example, you could be selling something for £5,000 and you'd happily pay a cost per lead of £50 if they actually convert, but you could be selling something for £1,000 and realistically you're not going to be wanting leads at £50 at a 10% conversion rate, because you can see here conversion rate 10%, because that's £500 and that's not really going to be suitable. So cost per lead, it depends on your offer. You can make the judgment yourself. But click-through rate, ideally you're going to want this over 2%. Link click-through rate, 1%. Conversion rate, 10%. And CPM, sort of. So here's the thing about CPM, and that is that ultimately if nobody sees your ads, so CPM is cost per mile, so 1,000 impressions. Ultimately, if nobody sees your ads, then, well, nobody's going to submit, is the truth. And your link click-through rate, so CTRs, click-through rate, they're all going to start to dwindle if nobody sees it, basically. So you're not going to have anybody clicking. So it matters to an extent, but if there are still people submitting, there are still people turning into leads and showing, yeah, I'm interested, then it's fine. Ultimately, though, your cost per lead is the most important metric here, because if everything else is shit, like, don't worry. If the cost per lead is okay, then it doesn't really matter. But generally speaking, whenever all the metrics suck, it will contribute to a per cost per lead. So it's important to keep an eye on those, because it will affect the cost per lead eventually, more than likely. But I will show you how to fix that, and I will show you how to troubleshoot ads later on in this video, so keep watching. And that's not just me trying to get you to keep watching YouTube, but I will show it to you, I will break it down. So step 3 is take the best performing ad and double down on what works by repeating this process over and over again. So you're going to take the best performer and add 2 new ads. So now you get 3 in total. You've got the best performer as well as 2 new ones. Make sure that they're similar to the best performer. So we'll go back to the estate agent example. It might have been that the for sale sign did the best. So now what you're going to want to do is implement a photo of a couple standing beside a for sale sign, and you're going to want to implement a photo of, I don't know, just a for sale sign on its own without even a house in the background, if that makes sense. And run the test again. So just do this again, do all of this again, wait 48 to 96 hours, keep an eye on the metrics, do all of this again, and wait for 48 to 96 hours. Do the same with your copy as well as your headlines. So take the best performing copy, take the best performing headlines, come up with something that's similar to that, but it's different. It's different, but it's still similar, and run the test again. So now we're getting a bit more zoomed in. We're starting to focus a bit more instead of just having the most variety as possible, because we already know what works. If the for sale sign worked, then you're going to want to implement more for sale signs. That's the whole point of the testing and the variety. You want to find what works, so whenever you find what works, double down on it and start to implement more and similar ideas to that. And then just repeat. Just keep doing that, man. Keep going. Whenever you find a winner, just keep implementing stuff that's similar. Keep going, testing, and eventually you'll find like a ultimately optimized ad, which just came from doing an initial test with 3 creatives. And by the way, if you find that none of your metrics are on KPI after your first test, so after the initial 48 to 96 hours, then just come up with new ideas and go again, because you missed the mark essentially. But that probably won't happen. But it should look a little like this. So you're going to start out with 3 creatives, okay, in the initial DCT test. You might find the creative 3 is the winner. So what you're going to want to do is come up with different versions of creative 3. So they're all very similar to creative 3, but they're a little bit different. They're along the same theme, same foundation. And wait another 48 to 96 hours, and then you might find that this one was the winner. So just find three more, or come up with three more creatives which are similar to this. So I don't know, you might find that so we'll do the real estate one again. We'll do the for sale sign was the winner. You want to do a for sale sign with a couple on its own and in front of a house. And you might find it in front of the house wins, so you're going to want to start implementing more things outside the front of the house. An agent and a couple outside the front of the house, the for sale sign obviously, and then, I don't know, whatever you want, like a dog out the front of the house or something like that, a dog in a family, I don't know. And then just keep going to infinity. That is ads, that is literally all you have to do. Just keep testing, find the winner, find stuff that's similar to that, implement it as well, and you will get an ultimately optimized ad as a result of that. An ad campaign, I should say, because this is the overall strategy. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I have here the troubleshooting guide. I'm going to check how much we have left to cover. Yeah, so we have a little bit more to cover. But this is just key metrics and then some closing notes for you, if that is all okay. So how do you actually troubleshoot your ads when they aren't performing? So this is something that happens. People have absolutely no idea coming into it, and they launch the ads with an awful strategy, and of course they don't perform. And because they didn't know what they were doing initially, they don't know how to fix things whenever they go wrong. So the first thing you need to do to solve any problem is to address the problem. Actually pinpoint what's wrong and why. How do we fix it? What exactly is the issue? For example, my cost per lead is too high. Implement something known as Socratic reasoning, and this is basically just asking why until you get to like the crux of the problem. So, cost per lead is too high. Why? Because nobody's submitting the form. Why? Because nobody's clicking on the form. Why? Generally here, you'll find the answer. In this case, it's probably per offer / copy. Why is your offer per? Because, I don't know, because I didn't use good language. Why? Because I don't understand my target audience. Why? Because you didn't do the work to understand your target audience. Why? Because you're an idiot. I'm not saying that you're an idiot, but that's just how it goes. Like, I mean, if you're sitting there thinking, oh wait, that actually is me, then yeah, I don't mean to be a dickhead, but like it's idiot behavior. Always put in the work, understand who you're trying to work with here. Use the right bait for the right fish. And if you can't do that, then what are you doing? Just think it through logically, man. So based on your metrics. Think through your metrics as to why your ad isn't performing, and generally you will find an answer. So like I said, you can have here, nobody's clicking on the form. It's probably a per offer / copy, because obviously you don't understand your target audience. But for those who don't want to think, here is exactly what you should do. I'm just going to lay it out step by step and tell you specifically what to do when something doesn't work. And this is probably the most valuable part of the video, if I'm being honest. Maybe not. It depends on your level of experience. So, what you're going to want to do is analyze your click-through rate, link click-through rate, and conversion rate, and ultimately your cost per lead as well. Yeah, so if your cost per lead is too high, because ultimately cost per lead is the most important one. If the cost per lead dwindles, then you're going to want to look at these guys. So, if click-through rate is less than 2%, so it's not in KPI, you need to amend the call-out, or the first line of your copy. So you remember we did the call-out. I'll take it back 2 seconds, guys, don't worry. Oh my god, so many words. Remember we did the call out, guys? So whenever you're doing your copy writing, you want to do the call out first. But if your click-through rate is under 2%, essentially what this means is that people aren't interested. Nobody is looking at your ad and going, oh, let me see some more about that. And that really comes down to the first line of copy, because that's the only one that they can see. They have to hit see more. And that's what click-through rate is, guys. People clicking on see more, clicking on your ad in any way. That's what click-through rate is. And you're creative. Nobody's interested. They're just scrolling past. So amend those two. Link click-through rate is less than 1%. Realistically, you need to amend your offer, copy, and call to action, because people are clicking on your ad. So this is on the assumption that click-through rate is in KPI, but link click-through rate isn't. Basically what's happening is people are getting interested. They're going, oh, what's this? And they click to see more. But then they read your offer, they read the rest of the copy, and they don't really know what to do next, even if they were interested, and they don't click on the link and they don't submit. If your conversion rate is less than 10%, you need to amend your lead form and your offer. So essentially, people are interested when they see it. They think, oh, yes, I like the offer. I have offer here, so we'll leave that out for a second. They're like, oh, yeah, this resonates with me. I know what to do next. but then they go on and they see on the lead form that it says something completely different or unrelated to what they clicked for. So it could be, for example, I don't know, you're trying to sell a consultation or something like that, or you're trying to sell that's a good one. You're trying to sell a free guide using a lead form, and they click through to the lead form, and it says, "Tell us when we can speak with you." That's got nothing to do with the free guide, so they're not going to submit. You know what I mean? So I hope that makes sense. Make sure that the lead form aligns with what they're reading in the ad, what they're reading in the copy, what they're seeing in the creative. Side note, so this is what I sort of spoke about earlier. If you find you have a ridiculously high CPM, this isn't necessarily going to make you or break you. You can still have a good ad campaign with a high CPM. For example, at the minute, I'm running one and I have a CPM of around £30, so like $35 to $40, which is ridiculously high. But we're still getting cost per lead at $10 to $12, which is fine for me. But at the same time, if no one sees your ads, no one can submit. So if you're not getting any clicks, you're not getting anything. CPM can affect it, and you can generally improve your CPM by just improving your ads. If no one's interested in looking at them at all, they're really low quality. Facebook doesn't want it on the platform. Even though you're paying, it is really going to affect your performance. It's not going to come up as part of people's suggested content, as part of their algorithm. It's not going to fit in with anybody, despite the fact that you're actually paying for those ads. Because something that you'll find is that when you have a really good performer, it starts getting more reach, it starts getting more clicks, even on the same amount of ad spend as the rest of your ads. So the better your ad, the better it'll perform as well. But yeah, guys, that is troubleshooting. I want to just leave you all with some closing notes, because I've pretty much covered everything, the whole strategy now. But I will just leave you with some things in closing, and that is that just being able to launch an ad and navigate Ads Manager does not mean that you know how to run ads. There's two completely different things. If you look at the amount of shit that we just went over with testing creatives, testing copies, testing lead forms, testing metrics, all of that stuff, troubleshooting ads, that's not the same as launching an ad in Ads Manager and navigating through Ads Manager. Two completely different things. So if you're looking to get into marketing yourself and you're at this stage, don't ask for people's money just yet. Do a bit more research, get more up to speed with the service, and you'll be fine. But if you're watching this, you're on the right path because you're 22 minutes into a service delivery tutorial, so well done. Also, a really good offer is absolutely central to your ads because you can have the shittest setup ever, but if you're selling a Lamborghini to the first person who submits for like £1,000 or $1, like, of course they're gonna fucking submit, and you'll get really good results. Although that's almost too good to be true, people might not, but you get the point. So just because someone submits a form on Facebook does not mean they will hand over the money in an instant. This is something that's very fucking important because people don't understand this, and they will missell their ad campaigns. They'll say, "Oh, I'll get you these high quality leads. We'll sign all these clients," and then so this is like as a marketer working with a different client. They say, "Oh, we'll get you this, we'll get you that," and then they launch the campaign, and the client starts seeing all these leads coming in and thinks, "Oh, yes, we're going to sign so many clients." But then they speak with them, and like 50% of them are not very high quality, and they think, "Oh, ads suck," and ads can work. The only reason that they have such a bad reputation is because of a misalignment of expectations. It is part of a wider sales system that you'll find the best advantage in ads, and that is staying on top of them through a CRM, through a proper content strategy, through a proper marketing strategy overall, as opposed to just ringing them up once, them saying, "Oh, I'm busy, can you call me back?" and then saying, "Oh, it's a dead lead," and throwing them away. So that's not the case. They could have just been busy. Keep them in the CRM, keep them in the pipeline, call them up like the next day, and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, sorry, I was just busy yesterday. Yeah, when can we speak?" Boom, client sorted. So set the expectations basically. Just because someone submits doesn't mean they're going to be a paying client. Follow up with leads as soon as possible, ideally within 5 minutes. So get the notifications on your phone. Where's my phone? Here. Get the notifications on your phone saying every single time a lead submits. You can do this through Go High Level. That's a whole other video in itself, but there are plenty out there on how to do that. Put yourself in the client or like the lead shoes. Imagine you submit something on Facebook and then someone rings you in like 2 minutes and says, "Oh, hey, we just got your thing." Like, where's your head going to be at? You're going, "Oh shit, these guys, this is impressive. These guys actually care," and you'll be more inclined to give them a chance because you'll come across and be perceived as different in the market and stand out. Whereas if it's like 3 days later, you'll get in the phone and be like, oh, hey, we saw that you submitted this. And you're like, what? Huh? What? And you'll hang up. And lastly, copy first, then iterate. So this is just some personal advice. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to come out like this professional marketer or anything like that. You can copy people from Ads Manager, and I even recommended it in this video. Go to Ads Manager, see what's working already, and whenever you've nailed down the basics, you can consistently deliver every single time. Then you can look to iterate, start to implement new ideas, and see if you can find better performers. But yeah, guys, that is ads. That's ads as it stands for me. I will just go over some of these basics again. So this diagram can really summarize it. Start off with 3 creatives in a DCT test, by the way, guys, dynamic creative testing. Let that run for 48 to 96 hours, keeping an eye on the cost per lead mainly. But if the cost per lead sucks, then keep an eye on your click-through rate, link click-through rate, and conversion rate. Find the best one with the best cost per lead or the lowest of the other 3 click-through rates. Create 3 different variations that are similar to that winner. And then just repeat it, man. Just find the best one out of that second iteration, make a third iteration, and just keep going. So that should actually say V3. But you get the point. I'll do that for all of them, but you get the point. And just keep going. So yeah, that is essentially ads. If you are finding yourself in a situation where you're nervous, you don't really have any idea of a strategy, you're completely winging it, it's kind of like all the stuff I said at the start, then this is probably a good video for you to get started on in terms of having a more consistent strategy. So I do hope that you're able to find this valuable, and I recommend that you take this and use the troubleshooting, especially when it comes to getting your ads into performance. But I recommend that you follow me on Instagram, because not because I want your follows, but just because if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer them there. I do respond to all my messages on Instagram, especially if anybody has help or any questions related to my videos. So if you've made it this whole way, then I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.